All right, hello again, everybody. Today is February the 10th, 2019, and of course, we're here to talk about a possible snow event starting tomorrow night into Tuesday. And before we do that, Tom, I just want to show some allegiance to you for your last video. I want to show you that I'm with you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you, Bill. Wait, where are you again? In New Mexico right now?
Yeah, it's not a stylish.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it gets cold here. Believe it or not.
I bet it does. I bet it
Boy,
does.
this is one warm hat. I don't think I'm going to be able to keep this on the whole time. But anyway. So first thing is we got a lot of questions from people, and I thought we'd run through those, and then we could actually run through whatever you want to show us. Sound good?
Sounds great. Let's go.
All right, first question, pretty straightforward. What time do you anticipate the snow to begin on Monday night? Obviously, it depends where, but, you know, obviously Twin Cities where most people live.
Yeah, let's go Twin Cities Metro, anywhere between 6 p.m. and midnight. I think just a real good roundabout time is going to be 9 p.m.
Okay. Somebody was curious why today's storm ended on the high end of the forecast, and also what you think, which model you think has been the strongest with these storms.
Yeah, well, so the high end of the forecast, the funny thing is that I don't know what forecast they're talking about because, of course, there's millions of forecasts.
Well, probably the National Weather Service, because they didn't have the Twin Cities even in an advisory, and I think they were talking 2 to 4, and it ended up being closer to 6. So,
yep, I don't want to speak for the National Weather Service. I can tell you that at least when Novak Weather put out the snow map last night, we had much of the Twin Cities Metro, especially the southern metro, in a 4 to 6 inch snowfall range, which is where we ended up. I was a little surprised that the northern metro got 4 to 6 inches, but that's just as simple as saying that the axis of heavy snow shifted about 30 to 50 miles further north. But otherwise, I thought the system performed exactly as we were expecting.
Okay, next question. Are the dynamics of the system for the Monday night Tuesday storm such where a continual shift to the southeast is more likely than a shift back to the northwest? And do you expect a tight cutoff gradient with the storm?
Yes to all that. I think that this storm has the potential to drift a little bit further southeast with the track. That worries me. That's a bit of a red flag. Otherwise, this seems to be a slam dunk. I don't think there's any doubt that we're going to get snow. We're going to get accumulating snow. And I think that, in fact, I'm very high with my confidence that everybody in southern and eastern Minnesota and basically all of Wisconsin's going to get 4 to 6 inches plus of snow. But again, the track of the storm could be just a little bit further southeast than expected.
Okay. You know, I noticed the National Weather Service has a 56% chance of the Twin Cities getting at least 6 inches of snow. And, you know, for comparison, the Vikings won 53% of their games last year.
Yeah, those percentages, you know, we talk about this all the time, Bill. Why don't we start putting percentages on what could occur, right? And so I think you're probably liking that the National Weather Service is doing that. One thing I can tell you is that that's really difficult. So give the National Weather Service a lot of credit that they're attempting that. I think it makes sense. But I think you're going to see those percentages shift around as model data comes in tonight and tomorrow morning.
Yep. Okay. See, we've addressed that one. If you can, someone wants you to address the recent model failure. It feels like it's been really, really bad. What's happened, and could that happen again here in this situation?
Yeah, so this one kind of gets me, this question, because I don't think model data has been really, really bad. Okay. I think model data this season has been pretty darn good. Now, it's how you interpret the model data, right? I can tell you this, I mean, I feel very good about a lot of the forecasts that Novak Weather has had this season. And a lot of that has to do with great model data. So, yeah, I'm disagreeing with that last question, Bill. I think it's good. Now, I do feel that a certain model guidance is better than others. I really, as everybody knows, I have a lot of faith in the European computer model guidance. Nothing against us Americans, but I'm just saying it seems to be a little bit more accurate, and it doesn't shift as much with its solutions from run to run. So, and you're going to see that tonight when we look at guidance.
Okay, and then one last question did come in late here. I need to read it to you. Along those lines, somebody says, would it make more logical sense moving forward if the U.S. invested in the euro, sort of a percentage of investment type of thing, rather than having the GFS?
Yeah, so here's what I would say. The Europeans have been forecasting weather for hundreds and probably thousands of more years than Americans, right? I know that's kind of stretchy.
They needed to know what the weather was going to be like when they would cut people's heads off, right?
Right, exactly. In the medieval times, right, they were probably trying to forecast the weather in Europe. So they've got a little bit of head start on us, but, and we're that's kind of tongue in cheek. We're joking a little bit there. But no, the truth is that, I mean, the European guidance, which we call the ECMWF, the Euro, it's fantastic. They are ahead of the game, I think, right now, but the American model is fantastic also. That's the GFS and the NAM. And it's catching up. Really what it comes down to, Bill, is you got to take all the guidances, you got to put them into one bowl, and then you got to sift through it, right? And it's what kind of a spin does the forecaster put on all the guidances that come in? That's the key. That's why you get so many different forecasts, is because some forecasters maybe don't care to look at other guidances, and they maybe just look at one and consider that the Bible, right? Yeah. I think the real good forecasters are the ones that take the time to look at all the guidance, and it takes a lot of time, okay? And then puts their own spin. They discern the model data on their own and try to give you the best.
That's why you get paid the big bucks, right?
That's why we don't hardly get paid anything. But you know
that's
what?
Why you haven't slept in 3 nights. I mean, it's all because
I haven't slept in about a week, Bill. This weather pattern has been amazing. And by the way, the record snowfall for the month of February in the Twin Cities at MSP International is 26.5 inches. I'm trying to factor in today's snow in the Twin Cities. I think the airport got 5.9 inches. That's going to put us up right around 16 inches of snowfall now for the month. And we're 10 days into the month. I think we're going to get another 6 to 10 inches on Monday night into Tuesday. That's going to put us near 25 inches by Wednesday. Wow. So if we don't break or just obliterate that 26.5 figure, I will be shocked by the end of the month.
Well, Tom, records are made to be broken.
They are, but I think this one is going to be broken. And here's the reason why, Bill. Let's get right to some of the this isn't guidance, of course. This is just straight from Novak Weather. I get a lot of people that come to my Facebook page and they tell me how much snow they got. So whoever does that, I love you for it, because the reports that come into my Facebook page are second to none. And I love it that people do that. And here's what I've come up with as far as estimated totals. Now, this isn't official, okay? We'll see what the National Weather Service map shows, but I think this is a pretty good idea of what happened today. You can see the axis of heavy snow, Bill, right across the core Twin Cities metro area, and then extending east into Wisconsin to near and just north of Eau Claire, then to Wausau. All right, so again, a good 4 to 6 inch snowfall across much of the region, and hardly any. In fact, very little snow fell in northern Minnesota. So this was mostly a southern Minnesota and Wisconsin snowstorm. Iowa, too. By the way, there was a massive car pileup in Wisconsin right about here near Madison, or just north of Madison, from what I understand. So that just tells you that you got to take care out there. If I remember correct, it was like a 40 to 50 car pileup on I-90 and I-94. Yeah, exactly where that junction is there between those two freeways. So
those drivers must not have been listening to Novak Weather. It's all I can.
Well, Novak Weather doesn't concentrate as much down there, so I'll give them a little break there. But I can tell you this: the National Weather Service certainly had put snow in the forecast out for that area. And were people listening? I don't know. Quite frankly, Bill, I just think that people go too fast. Right. So that's really what it comes down to. Okay, so now let's get into model guidance. Now, first thing I'm going to show you.
Wow, that's an interesting shape.
Yeah, so this is from Novak Weather, and the reason why I'm showing you this is because I know everybody wants to know how much snow, and I really have a tough time putting out snow totals much more than 24 hours in advance of the storm, just because you know how things change, Bill, in guidance. But you know what? I looked at the European computer model guidance this morning, and yes, I'm kind of buying into it, and you're going to see what I mean. But right now, I'm thinking the Twin Cities is a shoo-in for a 6 to 9 inch snowfall. And as you go to the east of the Twin Cities, even the eastern metro, maybe more in that 8 to 10 inch range. And then the bullseye is going to be from near Des Moines, or maybe just north of Des Moines, up through Rochester, then over to Eau Claire, and then continuing east and north to Wausau, and then maybe even as far east as Green Bay. So
but that's where it looks like a fairly gradual gradient there. Not as severe.
It is, but I do expect the gradients, Bill, to tighten. But right now, it's really tough to say where that tight gradient's going to be. I get a funny feeling it's going to be southwest here. In fact, I'm going to probably shave some of these snow totals in southwestern Minnesota, just because I think the storm system's going to really get its act going as it starts to churn east into southeastern Minnesota and eastern Minnesota and Wisconsin. So I think if there's going to be a razor sharp gradient, it'll be more on the western and southern side of these snow totals, and then they'll gradually taper as you go north. But look, it's a healthy snow for almost everybody in North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa. So this is just going to be a big, major, massive winter storm, and it's something that we get to look forward to. Now, this is hot off the press, Bill. I have not looked at this guidance yet. This is the NAM computer model guidance now. This is the 7 p.m. guidance, and it's coming in as we speak. So bear with me here, Bill, but this is the jet stream structure from the NAM computer guidance. And right now it's showing me something that we certainly need to be concerned about. Here's this comma-shaped jet structure now, and it looks like the base of that comma now, of the comma head, is right over Wisconsin and eastern Minnesota on Tuesday morning. So if you were to believe the NAM computer model guidance, without even looking at QPF, Bill, which is quantitative precipitation forecast, without even looking at that, you would say heavy snow would be in southeastern Minnesota and then extreme eastern Minnesota and then over basically all of Wisconsin. So, I think that Novak weather map that you just saw a little bit ago on snow totals is going to be pretty close. And here's the energy that's now coming in, these brighter oranges and reds and magentas. This is energy that's flowing into the storm system in the mid layers of our atmosphere.
Tom, what is that showing? I don't know that we've seen that kind of map before. What is that actually?
It's vorticity. It's spin in the atmosphere. And really what it comes down to, it's energy in the atmosphere. And you've got one good piece of energy over Montana, and then a second one, a real important piece of energy here over Oklahoma. And really what it comes down to, Bill, is what is this energy in Oklahoma going to do? Is it going to move northeast tomorrow? Or is it going to move a little bit further or just straight east? If it moves straight east, then that's going to affect our snow totals. If it moves northeast, then we are going to get more snow. So that's going to be a big determinant on the track of this storm. Now, again, I haven't seen this yet. This is the projected snow totals from the NAM guidance. And we'll zoom in here in just a little bit. In fact, let's just do it now. By the way, it's going to be more than cold enough. It's going to be more than cold enough for snow, Bill. But let's zoom in. We're going to zoom into the upper Midwest. And this is hot off the press. And this is as of 10 a.m. Tuesday morning. You can see where the NAM's got the bullseye of snow. And this is where Novak Weather has it too. Basically from Rochester to Eau Claire, where by 10 a.m. on Tuesday morning, almost 10 inches of snow in the Rochester and Eau Claire.
But it's still snowing at that point, right?
Still snowing. In fact, let's just go to the projected radar summary from the NAM guidance. And I don't want to put too much credibility into the NAM guidance, but we might as well look at it as it's just coming down. But you can see it's got snow still over much of Minnesota and all of Wisconsin, heavy snow in Wisconsin as we get into 10 a.m. Tuesday morning. Now, the key is how much snow is going to linger back here in south central Minnesota and west central Minnesota, because I do think that there's going to be quite a cutoff or a sharp gradient to the snow here in southwestern Minnesota. And the reason for this, Bill, is that there is going to be an inverted trough. And now we're throwing a lot of terminology at people, but there will be an inverted trough, it appears, that sets up right over Minnesota. And how far east does that inverted trough travel as we go through the day Tuesday? If it hangs back west of the Twin Cities metro, then that means even heavier snow for the Twin Cities. So we'll be monitoring that quite a bit here as we go through the next 24 hours. I did want to look at the NAM Nest computer model guidance, Bill, and just see what it's showing for precipitation. You can see the onset of the snow. This is future radar coming in between about 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. tomorrow in the Twin Cities metro, and places like Albert Lee and Rochester, Minnesota will have snow already by 9 p.m., snowing heavily probably in those areas. So a lot of stuff coming in as we speak, Bill. And guidance, no computer model guidance is built ever totally agree with each other. So again, you have to put them all in a bowl, sift through them, and then put your own spin on things. Now, here is what has you swayed me to believe that we're going to get big snows in the Twin Cities, from the Twin Cities on east into Wisconsin. It has to do with the jet stream structure, Bill. And we always look at the jet stream structure. This is the river of air at 25 to 30,000 feet in our atmosphere, but here's a jet streak. Now, if you remember back to Thursday, Bill, and
yeah.
I'd love to show people what we saw on Thursday when we did our last video, but the jet streak on Thursday was located at almost the exact same spot as this one I'm showing you now for Tuesday. Again, this is the jet streak for Tuesday, coming from Texas and Louisiana, straight northeast into the southern Great Lakes. And that puts us, and this would be right here, Iowa, much of Wisconsin, eastern Minnesota, and Lake Superior in a perfect area for lift or for strong lift. It would be the left front quadrant of this jet streak, and that's usually where winter storms explode. So I'm envisioning a very similar situation to what happened Thursday. Radar, we're going to be sweating it out come Monday evening because radar probably won't light up too much on Monday afternoon, evening. We're going to wonder where the snow is, and then all of a sudden it's just going to explode Monday night. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. Meanwhile, I want you to focus on this jet streak now coming in to western portions of Nebraska and Iowa. That's some dry air that's going to be punching into this storm system, okay? So how far does this dry air move east is going to be the key. I don't think it's going to make it into the Twin Cities metro on Tuesday, which means I think more snow. Now, one last guidance I wanted to show you, Bill. This is the snow forecast from the European computer model guidance, okay?
Yep.
Now, this is Monday night. This is as of midnight Monday, and look at the bullseye of snow from Des Moines on north to the Minnesota-Iowa border. And then it moves straight northeast, so that Rochester, you are under the gun, no doubt about it. I'm expecting up to a foot of snow in the Rochester area, and then that'll extend northeast to the Eau Claire area. But look at where the Twin Cities is. A healthy snow already by Tuesday morning of about 3 to 5 inches by Tuesday morning by sunrise, and then that snow continues into the afternoon hours where another 2 to 3 inches of snow in the Twin Cities metro. By then, before the snow finally tapers on Tuesday evening. Now, here I want everybody to hang on to their seats here, but this is the potential snow. Now, this did take into account this afternoon snow too, so keep that in mind. But look at these snow totals between now and Tuesday evening. We're talking well over a foot from Des Moines, northeast, to Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
Tom, and the 11 for Minneapolis, you then have to take out the almost 6 for today then, right?
Well, it wasn't 6 because let's just go back.
I thought it was 5.9.
It was, but that's what we measured. We're just looking at what the guidance showed.
Okay. So then you back out 3.7.
Yep. The guidance showed somewhere between 3 to 4 inches in the Twin Cities. Now let's just go ahead and time. Now it's got 11. So really the European guidance is suggesting somewhere in the 6 to 8 inch range of snow in the Twin Cities metro, or at least at MSP International. I think that's going to be pretty close. I like where European model's going with this. As you go south and east of MSP International, I think totals are going to go up quickly, even more than that. I think totals will get into that 10, 12, maybe even more inch range as you get from Albert Lee to Rochester to Red Wing to Eau Claire. That's where I feel the bullseye is going to be. And again, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to see where the axis of heavy snow is. Here it is. And it moves straight northeast from Des Moines up to Eau Claire. So I do think that there's going to be a gradual cutoff in the snow totals as you go northwest of the Twin Cities metro. And I do believe that there's going to be more dry air here in South Dakota and southwest Minnesota. But regardless, this is a very healthy snowstorm for everybody, for probably everybody that's watching this. Northern Minnesota gets a little bit of a break out of this, only a couple inches probably up in that area. And then the Red River Valley, Fargo, Grand Forks, probably a 2 to 5 inch type snow up there. But yeah, those of you that are watching in the Twin Cities, Rochester, Eau Claire, just all of Wisconsin, eastern Minnesota, northern Iowa. Be prepared. Get the shovel ready. Hopefully you have a snow blower, but be prepared for significant snow.
Tom, do you have any idea about snow coming in later in the week?
I don't even want to touch that right now, Bill. That's the truth.
I had to ask.
Yeah, but just to let everybody know, I don't think anybody's going to be surprised at this, but there is, yes, another snowstorm expected over the Midwest. I don't think it's going to make it at least as much up to the Twin Cities as this next storm system is. I think we may get just a couple of inches out of that storm system, which would be Thursday and Friday, but we'll have to see.
Tom, one question that's been nagging me since our last video: what was in the oven?
You know what, Bill? I don't
know.
Squash. It was some squash thing.
Okay.
Something that I don't eat much of. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Hell, it sounds really.
Yeah. Weird. Whatever.
All right. Anything else?
That's it, buddy.
Good stuff, Tom. And I think everybody will enjoy this. This is very, very meaty conversation.
Hey, let's go for that 26.5.
What the heck?
All right.
Thank you, Tom.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.